It didn't record any of this. Now, Tawheed. Everybody is here. Who's not?
Sorry.
So, what are we studying today? In the main book, what page number?
118.
Okay. Note taking, yes. We listened to part 1 of the talk, Professor Ivan Greger's talk. Professor Ivan Greger. Benevolent matlab? Somebody who has good attitude, good, and intentions, benevolent. And they want to help, okay? Benevolence, paropkar, benevolent, paropkari. परोपकार, दूसरे पे उपकार करना यानी कि बेहतर करना दूसरे को. Benevolence is that benevolent people want to help other people.
Sir, is Samir in the physical class?
He is not.
Mm.
11.9 or 8. Good evening.
(10.8) Talking about you. 1. Do you ever play computer games?
No, but my nephew does all the
11.8 My Vision for the 21st Century. Part 1. Reasons to be optimistic.
Although the world is facing many serious problems at the moment,
Although the world is facing many serious problems at the moment, this line will be so true for any time you use it. This sentence was not written today, but this is so true about today. The world is facing so many challenges today, so many problems today. Although the world is facing so many problems today,
I am generally optimistic.
Reasons to be optimistic.
reasons to be positive, optimistic, positive. Okay. Young people are more optimistic than elderly people. We become more pessimistic, and there are other words, apprehensive, and another word, cynical. Cynical means not believing in good. Cynical means people don't want to help others. People are not positive. People are not nice. That is cynical attitude, okay? Apprehensive means something will not happen. Apprehensive, I'm apprehensive about the success of this plan. I am apprehensive about the success of this plan. Yeah. So I don't think it will be successful. My apprehensions means my doubts. My apprehensions are not baseless. My apprehensions are not baseless.
Although the world is facing many serious problems at the moment,
Although the world is facing many serious problems at the moment,
I am generally optimistic about.
I'm generally optimistic. So contrasting ideas, although is very good word to join them now. The world is facing many serious problems and I'm optimistic. They are going in two different directions. That's why, although the world is facing so many serious problems, I'm generally optimistic
The future.
about the future.
We've been worrying about the end
We have been worrying about the end of civilizations. We have been worrying about the end of civilizations
of civilization for over 100 years
for over 100 of years, actually for over thousands of years.
now. But we've always found ways to deal with the problems we face.
But we have always found a way or found ways to deal with the problem we face. Whatever problems we are facing, we find a way to deal with that problem. This has been the pattern. COVID, in pandemic that we saw, it was not the first pandemic the human beings experienced. Maybe for a lot of people, it was the first time in their life, but in history, we have seen worse pandemics than COVID pandemic. But we dealt with them and we came out of this pandemic as well. While we were in it, while we were going through it, a lot of people were so apprehensive if life would be normal ever again, me included. Okay. I was also very apprehensive. I was also very doubtful if life would ever become back to normal. But look at us today, living life as if COVID never happened.
And I believe we can do the same in the future.
And I believe we can do the same in the future.
Life could actually become much better for us all.
Life actually could become much better for us all. He is going one step further. Life could actually become better for us all.
Oh, with improvements in healthcare and
With improvements in healthcare. There will be improvements in healthcare, and this will lead to improvement in our life standards
technology.
and technology. There will be improvements in technology, and all these things will make life better.
We've already made big improvements in life expectancy.
We have already made big improvements in life expectancy.
People have been living longer and longer lives.
People have been living longer and longer lives. And who knew that this change would be so rapid? If there is something that should surprise you or amaze you, it is the pace at which it has happened. Man has lived on this planet for thousands and thousands of years. Civilization has been, we have living in a civilized way for over thousands of years, okay? And yet, last 70 years have been unbelievable. 70, 80 years since the end of the Second World War, humans have made so much improvement in technology and and healthcare and everywhere, because we were not fighting as many wars. After two wars, World War First, World War Second, we realized that wars are very destructive. So we tried to avoid conflicts, and we focused and directed our energy in, improving our life by improving technology, which is why in last 70 years, everything has happened: computers, internet, right? Nuclear energy, all these things are results of last 70 years, right? I mean, we had atom bombs in 1940s, but did we have nuclear reactors to produce energy in 1940s? So
Since the 1950s,
since the 1950s, did you check life expectancy in 1940s? I'll do it for you. Life expectancy in the 1940s varied drastically depending on location. It varies today as well depending on location. Some parts of the world have always been living better. In India, it was incredibly low. I told you yesterday, averaging around 27 to 32. It is a fact, not an opinion. People have data. Meanwhile, the global average hovered around 45 years. We were so far behind. And in wealthier nations like the US, it was between 60 and 65 years even back then. Yeah. And the low life expectancy was mainly because of high infant mortality rates, frequent infectious diseases. Malaria, yesterday we were discussing when class was over. Malaria and diarrhea were mass killers. They would kill people by the thousand. These diseases, malaria and diarrhea, would kill people by the thousand until we found solutions to them. Today, do you think of malaria or diarrhea as a fatal disease? Fatal means it will result in death. Is that the impression we have of these diseases? But there was a time these were fatal diseases because we didn't have a solution to them. We didn't understand what caused these diseases. Malaria is caused by a mosquito. I mean, is infected. The infection is spread by mosquito. I'm technically wrong. Somebody can say malaria is not caused by mosquito. Malaria is caused by a certain protozoa. What do we call it? Anybody who's studying science can tell me?
Protozoans.
Yeah. And Anopheles mosquitoes, female Anopheles mosquitoes carry them, on their legs and in their bites. Yeah. So they inject that protozoa in your body and you get malaria. Okay. For somebody who left his studies in 1998, this much information is enough. Okay. I don't know much. Well, what was I trying to say? Yes, that back then life expectancy was very low because of these reasons. Okay. Some people definitely lived to be 70, 80 years old, but a lot of people died young as well. And lots of children, after their birth, they died. They could not live. High infant mortality rates.
And most Americans lived for about 50 years.
Most Americans lived for about 50 years.
Nowadays,
So how long it took for us to jump from that life expectancy on average to this life expectancy that we have? Only 70 to 80 years. All right, 70 to 80 years. And how long have we lived on this planet? Why couldn't we raise our life expectancy earlier? Think. Why in last 70 years? And last 70 years, not only we have seen rise and improvement in technology, we have also seen change in people's worldview because of these changes in technology. A lot of people who have been in close contact with these changes, who have seen not only the impact of the changes, we all see the impact of the changes, they have also understood what brought about those technology improvement and all. Their worldview has changed so much, which is why yesterday we agreed in our private conversation that the number of people who go to mosques and temples and churches is on the decline constantly. And this decline coincides with the change in improvement in technology. In last 70 years, there has been a huge decline in the number of people who regularly visit temples, mosques, and churches. And the technology also has improved in last 70 years. Both the things have happened simultaneously. Is there a link? There is, clearly. Whether you like it or not, how you view it is a different thing. But it is true that in last 70, 80 years, both the things have happened simultaneously. Technology has improved People landed on the moon. We have found World Wide Web. We have found 5G internet, where robots are performing operation from a distance, right? Students are learning without visiting college, online. All these things were like dreams in the past, and they are happening. They have become reality. And it coincides, it is happening at the same time with the change in number of people who go to temples and mosques and churches too. You can't deny it. Why are some people doing it? Most people are not. Another story. And I think it is something that can easily be understood as well if you do use your common sense. If the whole world was like one, except for a handful of people, in some countries today, 40%, nearly half of the population, if identifies themselves as just humans rather than part of any group, religious, then it is a big change already. You cannot really reject this. And again, to say that all these people are greedy people, that's why they're like this, or they're bad people, that's why they're like this, is self-righteousness. That I'm self-right, I'm right, I'm because I'm this way and they're bad. They're also human beings and they have high moral values. In those places where people are not going to churches and temples and mosques, there are less number of stealings and murders and rapes and crime cases because they have better systems in place. Systems they have developed over last 70 years, again, with CCTV cameras everywhere, honest, accountable officers, supervising those cameras and everything.
Life expectancy is nearly 80 years.
So it's not that impressive that life expectancy has gone up. In such a small window of time, it has gone up. For thousands of years, we could not take it upwards that much. And last 70 years has been so crucial.
And in future, most people will live to be 100.
Most people will live to be 100. By the way, when Professor Saab is talking about this, he's not talking about recent researches and studies and experiments that people have done, scientists have done. They have even figured out what changes inside our cells that makes our body old. They have understood it. And now they're working on how to reverse that change that happens inside our cells. And if they are successful in doing it, then aging will slow down. People will not feel old at the age of 60 and 70. And if you observe neutrally, you will realize that today in 2020, in the 21st century, 2020s, people in their 40s and 50s look much younger and healthier if you look at their photos today and compared to people who were in their 20s and 30s 100 years back. Cameras existed, by the way, let me tell you. So when you compare them, you realize that they look much older in a younger age, at a younger age. Women, men, both in their 30s look like they were in their 50s. There are so many such videos which will talk about this aspect and this phenomenon, that why people look younger today. Again, in last 100 years, because of better wealth, people have become wealthier on average. So they have access to better food now. Better lifestyle. Do you guys know that Sunday that you take for granted as a holiday is a very recent phenomenon? And people until only a few 100 years ago, had to work 7 days and not 8 hours. Again, you're wrong. 10 hours, 12 hours. And initially, they were not given holidays because they could relax. They were given holidays so that they could spend their money with their family, going out and buying things. Even the holiday that they were given was not given to relax them. The problem is, if you have not done any studies, if you haven't got information, you can believe in the absence of knowledge anything you want to believe. Life was harder. only a few hundred years ago. There was nothing called a middle class that we have today. There were wealthy people and there were poor people. There was no middle class. Middle class is a category today. We all belong to that. Some might consider themselves a little upper middle class, lower middle class. But this idea, this terminology, middle class, didn't exist. There were rich people and there were poor people.
People often say that they don't want to live to be 100.
People often say that they don't want to live to be 100. But that's because
they imagine living in an old and broke.
Because they imagine living in an old and broken body and they don't want to live that pathetic life. So they say, I don't want to live 100, to be 100. I would rather die young, at 80, 70, when my body is functioning well. Who would like to be in bed dependent on their children and grandchildren to wash them and to clean them when they are unable to go to the toilet? Who would like to live that kind of life? Nobody wishes to live that kind of life. So not many people want to live to be 100 because they imagine living to be 100 means living dependent life.
Body. We've already discovered how to grow new cells to repair.
We've already discovered how to grow new cells outside our body.
Parts of the body. They imagine living in an old and broken body. We've already discovered how to grow new cells to repair parts.
To repair new cells. How to grow new cells to repair parts of our
body. And when we can grow new hearts, kidneys, and livers outside of the body, we'll be able to use them like the spare parts of a car.
When we are able to grow new hearts, kidneys, lungs outside human bodies, we will be able to use them as spare parts of cars. Cars, when they suffer damage, we replace parts and the car functions well. The same way, old people will go, my heart is not functional. Okay, heart transplant. Okay. It's happening already. It's another thing that heart is not grown outside the body. That heart comes from somebody else's. Which is why, again, how many of you would like to pledge your body parts to be used for somebody else who needs it after your death? And you would not really have that fascination for your body that it has to be properly with all the due respects and everything must be, buried or cremated. These are the aspects where religion people like me feel a bit annoyed. Because imagine it, that there are 10 families in a village in urgent need of money, in a desperate need of money. On the other hand, there are 10 other people. They are keeping their money buried in their under the ground, and some people are burning their money instead of giving them. How would you feel about these 10 families? Wouldn't you consider them insensitive? And now there are people who desperately need heart transplant, kidney transplant, lung transplant, eyes, and so many other things. And once you're dead, your body can be used for these things. Why won't you want to help? Why don't you want to help? What stops you? You know that a lot of religious people will never pledge their body parts to be used after their death. After a lot of changes recently, so many awareness programs and all that, people have agreed to give blood, donate blood. Earlier, they did not donate blood either. So what are these things? Tell me. What stops them? Their understanding of what their God wants from them? Yes or no? It is what stops them from pledging their body parts after that. We are not saying take it while we are alive, but once we are dead, why can't our body be used to somebody's needs? So these are the places where you see how people become a little weak because of their beliefs. They fail to appreciate other people's suffering. Because I live in a small town and I've not been able to, and it would be such a shame if I pass away without pledging my body, because I would like to. For me, there is no importance in these things, burying body and cremating body and all these things. These things are done for the emotional well-being of the family members. It doesn't really make a difference to the person who is already dead. But other people don't like seeing their beloved one's body being,
For the cleanliness as well.
no, there are better ways. What are you talking about? Is it the best way for environment, the way we bury the body and cremate the body? Is it the best way?
Sorry, I'm
Ba-
agree with the burying.
Burying and cremating, burning, both are not as good for environment as some modern methods are. For getting rid of the dead body.
Keeping our bodies fit and healthy until kidneys and livers outside of the body, we'll be able to use them like the spare parts of a car, keeping our bodies fit and healthy until we die.
Well, he's wrong here. It is true, mostly we will die when our body starts becoming weak. That is a natural process. Yes, some people die young because certain things suddenly happen, accidents and stuff, inside the body as well sometimes. But mostly people die because their body stops working. Haven't you seen patterns? Cats, animals as well. Before their death, they sleep more. And look at old people. Don't they spend a lot of time sleeping? When their body is becoming old, and they're nearing death, notice they sleep more. A lot of people, this is a very common pattern. They sleep more.
People worry about world population becoming an even bigger problem.
Even a bigger problem. It is already a problem. People worry about world's population becoming even a bigger problem.
If people live longer.
If people live longer. Because if we are living to be 80 and 70, then we already have so many people. If we live longer, then the world's population will become even bigger.
However, when people become more educated and
Now, what is he saying? If people become more educated and
richer,
notice the second word. If people become more educated and richer,
they don't need or want to have so many children.
They won't need or they don't want to have so many children. What does it mean? Research has proven that people who want to have a lot of children are poor and uneducated. In poor and uneducated parts of the world, average number of children is much bigger to a couple. Okay, couples give birth to more children in those areas which are relatively poor and uneducated. For example, Africa. It's very backward. Okay. In Africa, couples bear more children than couples in Europe. So as they become richer and more educated, they refuse to have as many children. Now, what does it show? What does it show? You're asking me for evidence and things. I talk from the academic point of view. Why is it so that people living in, again, does it mean all the rich people will only have a few children? No. Sometimes you're rich, but you want to have more children, but you are an exception. Majority people who have a lot of children, regions where people give birth to more children are those regions where people are in general uneducated and poor. And there is a link to it, psychological. Subconsciously, it works on your mind. You are not sure your child is going to live. So you keep having more and more babies because some are going to die, And it is true. When you have 7, 8 babies, 2, 3 die, 3, 4 survive, you live with them. But where there is more better healthcare, for children, for their babies, for mothers, for their babies. They have one or two babies and they do not suffer from this insecurity that their child will die. So it's easier for them to decide to keep one child and or two children because they're not subconsciously worried about losing their children. They might in an accident or something, but that's less likely. This is why people living in educated areas, educated regions of the world, and affluent regions of the world where people have money, they prefer to have less number of children. It is a pattern that we have seen. Even those areas like where people technologically were behind in the past had more children, gave birth to more children. Do you know this or not, that even in India, people are giving birth to less children on average than 30, 40 years ago. So what has changed in 30, 40 years?